Bandit Signs. We're here to talk about bandit signs. And bandit signs are one of the best ways to market for both buyers and for sellers. Usually we're marketing for motivated sellers, but they're also very good for finding buyers. And in even some cases, it will help you find other investors. Historically, bandit signs are one of the lowest cost per lead marketing strategies that you can use. And historically speaking, this is how you get deals relatively inexpensively. Bandit signs work best for wholesaling, fixing, flipping, all the seller financing strategies, lease options, short sales, and equity partnering deals. So a lot of those, both equity and no equity deals, work well with short sales. For a marketing overview, short sales are relatively inexpensive. Bandit signs are relatively inexpensive, $1.50 to maybe up to $4 per sign, and moderate amount of time, 10 to 20 minutes per sign to put the signs out. Actually, I would say it takes more time than it takes money. So those are the trade-offs between time and money for bandit signs. In terms of the cost for the strategy, again, bandit signs are relatively cheap. We just recently looked on a website and found bandit signs for We Buy Houses type advertising at about $1.67 a sign. You're going to go through a ton of signs, mostly because they're going to get taken down and thrown out almost as fast as you can put them up and or destroyed by the weather. So you're going to have to buy bazillions of these things and drive around and constantly be putting them out. My friends and associates who are real bandit sign experts. I don't consider myself a bandit sign expert, but I have lots of friends that are, and I've learned from them. They literally drive around with a trunk or back of their SUV filled with bandit signs all the time, and they're constantly putting them out. In terms of time, you have a choice. You can either do it yourself, meaning go ahead and put the bandit signs out yourself. It'll typically take 2 to 4 hours every time you plot out a route and put out a bunch of signs in your distribution area, or you can pay somebody else to do it for you. If you pay somebody else to do it for you, you're going to have to pay them, $10 or $20 an hour to go put a bunch of signs out for you. Now, in general, what you're going to do is you're going to stake out a route. What does that mean? You're going to literally get out a map and, plot out a, big circle on the map around the area you want to do your marketing in. And you might even want to put a little X on the map where you're putting your signs, but don't put it out ahead of time. Actually, when you're out putting the signs out, put the little X's on, because if you put the X's on ahead of time, you're going to discover you're not going to actually put the signs where you think you're going to put them. When you get to the location, you're going to ferret out the best place to put the signs. So you figure out a route on the map, and then you drive that route with a car full of signs, and you put the signs out along the route and mark where you put the signs out. In terms of your target market, you've got to understand your target market and what they are looking for. For bandit signs, you're typically looking for motivated sellers and or motivated buyers. As a result, you're going to use a message that resonates with that target market. And obviously, that's true with any type of marketing. So some of the best messaging for sellers is, bandit signs don't follow a lot of, you have to remember you don't have a lot of room on the bandit sign. You have a very small sign. In fact, I'll hold one up. Here's an example of a bandit sign, right? We Buy Houses, Fast Cash, Creative. 18 by 24 inch core plastic sign. This is the industry standard, if you will. This exact sign is probably maybe hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you write a phone number in the spot there. So there's obviously not much room on this sign to put a lot of stuff. If you try to put more words on the sign, the words get smaller and smaller, and when somebody's driving by quickly, they're just not going to see the words. So you want to minimize the messaging as much as you possibly can. So the best messages to convey what you're trying to do in the fewest number of words are, We Buy Houses. For seller marketing, We Buy Houses is frankly the best brand there is. Everybody recognizes We Buy Houses as investors looking for investment opportunities. And the good news about that brand is nobody owns it. And very often, people will call me when they see my We Buy Houses sign, and they'll say, "Are you the We Buy Houses company?" And I'll say, "As a matter of fact, I am." Fast, we talked about this in creating your message. You always want to say that you can buy the house fast, because fast is synonymous with what the seller wants. Motivated sellers need to solve their problem quickly, so fast is what they're looking for. And you always want to say that you buy your house for cash, because to a motivated seller, cash means fast. Their impression is that the only way to sell a house quickly is with cash. So they're looking for cash buyers. Whether you're a cash buyer or not, you always want to advertise yourself as a cash buyer. And even if they accept a cash offer from you, great. You can always find somebody who is a cash buyer to wholesale the deal to in the event that you yourself are not a cash buyer. And then if you put anything else on the Bandit sign besides we buy houses fast and cash, it would be some sort of a solution that your problem. Creative financing, any condition, one other little message. For buyers, the best messaging is, we have houses. Buyers want houses. No banks, no qualifying. And then something about the house. What the payment is. Buyers generally buy by terms, by payment rather than by price. And what the size of the house is. So we'll give you some examples here of some of these messages. We buy houses, fast, cash, and a phone number. That's a very clean, simple, elegant Bandit sign. And it's so clean and elegant, you can literally buy that sign pre-made and then hand write in the phone number